Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon and our unit comparison sort of series for Scandinavia. This one's going to be a little bit different. It's less of a comparison, more of a highlight, and I guess just a bit of a PSA because this is not something I knew for my first 350 games, and that's a long time to not know this and, be someone who enjoys playing Scandinavia, and that's the M41A1. You look at this thing, it's 10 points, it has a little bit of recon, but 2 frontal armor, not a lot of armor besides. The gun just looks completely anemic, and yet lots of people will tell you this is a crucial unit. So we do have Orangina with us as an expert player here, and I was just curious if you could sort of expand on that and then say, I've heard people say even take 2 cards of this, it's that good. Is that sort of where you fall, or how would you recommend using this tank?
I'd take 2 cards of this downvet. Most top players I know take 2 cards of this downvet. This thing is really powerful, and I think that if you ask a lot of very good players, they'll put this on maybe one of the top 10 most unbalanced units, because this thing is really good. Its biggest thing going for it is that it's in the recon slot. So there's a lot of 10-point M41s that aren't in recon slots, they're in the tank tabs, but for whatever reason this thing gets recon just for free. A big thing is its speed. It's fast. It has kinetic, so it will scale in forest, and that means you can buy like these things in 3 and 4 stacks, and you can start doing serious damage to IFEs, and you can trade very efficiently.
Yeah, the other day, 2 of these busted some of my 25-point recon tanks I was using, and I was just sitting there going, I know how good value that is, and it's just absurd. I do have to ask you, though, about the autonomy, because this is just 200 kilometers total autonomy, and I think in Wargame generally, just for those who aren't aware of this, autonomy is not actually distance, it's time. But even though they're quick, that seems like a really short amount of time that you get to really use this tank. How does it work on larger maps?
So on larger maps, it'll definitely struggle, and that's what makes this really more of a 1v1 unit, and where you really need this cost efficiency in units, and it's gonna struggle a bit more in team games. So I think that in 1v1s though, most of the maps in the ranked pool are short enough where feel either as like just on the brink of being an issue, or it's not an issue.
Gotcha, so maybe it'll be relevant if you're doing a push on the far side of nuclear winter is coming, but something like Punch Bowl, not really a concern.
Exactly.
Okay, well that's our unit highlight. Take this thing, take 2 cards of it down vetted if you want to be with the pros like Orangina here, and we'll be back with an actual unit comparison, probably still in the recon tab, or maybe even into vehicles for you guys tomorrow.